morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the RAT 558 Small Hydropower Technology course, which is being taken by myself, Dr. Gabriel Techi, lecturer at the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and my colleague is Mr.
Engineer Anthony Boy from the Power Authority.
Thank you very much. This course, Chapter 1, is Hydropower Development, and the focus is on the historical perspective of hydropower, the contemporary hydropower utilization, as well as hydropower resource assessment of Africa. The current status of large and small hydropower will also be treated. The key learning objectives can be summarized as follows. To provide a history of hydropower development, appreciate hydropower as a renewable source of energy, carry out hydropower resource assessment of Africa, and also provide the current status of large and small hydropower. Hydropower development as a source of energy dates back as far as 100 BC, when the Greeks and Romans used water wheels turned by running water and coupled with gears to grind corn. And so here we see that in terms of the historical development, the emphasis was on agriculture and food processing, and as alluded to, particularly in the area of grinding of maize. Hydropower is the energy that comes from the force of moving water. The fall and movement of water is part of a continuous natural cycle called the water cycle. And the figure below shows the water cycle. Gravity draws water, moving it from high ground to low ground. And the force of moving water is extremely powerful. Hydropower is a renewable resource because it draws its essential energy from the sun, which drives the hydrological cycle, which in turn provides a continuous renewable supply of water. Against this background, hydropower generation is drawing renewed attention and continues to stand as one of the most viable sources of new generation into the future, as solar power and wind power being actively introduced as alternative energy sources. This graph shows the potential, hydropower potential globally in terms of the technical, economic, and exploited potential. It shows Asia with a very high economic and technical potential, and also significant exploited potential, and also Africa with significant technical potential but a very low exploited potential. This graph also is a pie chart showing hydropower's contribution to the global or total renewable energy mix. It shows hydropower contributing about 90% to the total renewable energy mix. The other renewables, geothermal, biomass, wind, and photovoltaic, contributes only 0.9. That shows hydropower as a dominant renewable energy resource. The major hydropower producers can be summarized as follows. Here, my list shows Canada with something around 67 megawatt installed capacity, and then also United States of America, USA, with something around 80,000 megawatt installed capacity. You have countries like China with installed capacity of 65,000 megawatts, and also India with something around 22,000 megawatt installed capacity. The major hydropower dams have also been listed here. Here you have the Three Gorges in China, which has 23,000 megawatt installed capacity. This project was completed in 2009. You have the Itaqui, which was a joint project between Brazil and Paraguay. The completion year was 1983, and this is something like that, the capacity is something around 13,000 megawatts. And you have the Churchill Falls in Canada, which is 5,000 megawatts, and the Iron Gates in which was also a joint project between Romania and Serbia, which has installed capacity of 2,000 megawatts. The hydropower potential in Africa. Africa, as previously alluded to, has one of the biggest hydropower potentials, but currently uses only a fraction of this potential. The total installed capacity is somewhere around 20,000 megawatts. 90% of this figure comes from 8 countries. These are DR Congo, Egypt, Gabon, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Zambia, Madagascar, and Mozambique. And also Ghana, because of the few projects that have been completed, and also the projects that are also ongoing. Small hydropower plays a dominant role in rural renewable energy markets. SHP plays a great role in remote off-grid communities with typical applications in areas such as rural, residential community lighting, TV, radio and telephony, rural small industry, as well as grid-based power generation. Hydropower and climate change. Energy derived from moving water is environmentally friendly as compared to the other energy sources such as fossil fuels. Hydro energy does not lead to the emission of greenhouse gases and therefore do not contribute significantly to global warming. It was previously held that dam reservoirs do not emit any greenhouse gases. This view is being challenged due to the Clean Development Mechanism studies which were undertaken. Here we have some photographs of the 3 gorges in China. Very beautiful photographs. These are photographs of some of the major hydropower constructions in China. Here we have one from Itaipu in Brazil. Beautiful construction. The Guri Dam in Venezuela, which has a capacity of 10,200 megawatts. Okay, and now this slide also contains the pros and cons of hydropower. Here, hydropower is seen as emission-free with virtually no carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, as well as hydrocarbons or particulates. Hydropower is a renewable resource with high conversion efficiency to electricity, somewhere around 80% and over. So very high efficiency, conversion efficiency. Dispatchable with storage capacity. Here it can be used for base load, peak load, and also pump storage applications. It's scalable from 10 kilowatts to 20,000 megawatts. Low operating and maintenance costs, long lifetimes. These are all very, very important. And I've also got a list highlighting the disadvantages of hydropower. It frequently involves impoundment of large amounts of water with loss of habitat due to land inundation. There's also variable output dependent on rainfall and snowfall. The impacts on river flows and aquatic ecology, including fish migration and oxygen depletion, and also, of course, the social impacts of displacing indigenous people, the health implications in developing countries, the high initial capital costs, and also the long lead time in construction of large projects.